Welcome, curious minds, to the Uncanny Valley podcast.
Hello.
Today we're stepping through a collection of really extraordinary files. These things, they challenge our understanding of reality itself.
You really do.
We've got reports from quiet rural towns, the middle of nowhere, but also right from the heart of our largest cities.
Yeah.
And even some glimpses into these clandestine government operations.
Yeah, it's quite a mix. Phenomena that really defy easy explanation.
Exactly. These aren't just strange occurrences. They feel like whispers,
Yeah.
from beyond the veil of our everyday lives. And we're here to try and help you navigate these unsettling currents.
Indeed. And these aren't just like isolated oddities. Our mission today is to sift through this data, try to connect these faint but honestly chilling echoes,
Right.
and maybe reveal some of the unsettling truths that seem to lie just beneath the surface of the mundane. We're looking for the why and the how behind what seems impossible. Examining how various forces, both, natural and, well, decidedly unnatural, converge to create these deeply disturbing scenarios. Things that ripple through our world, often completely unseen by most people.
So if you're ready to look beyond the everyday, maybe grasp some of these unsettling undercurrents of our world, you're definitely in for a thought-provoking discussion. We're trying to cut through the noise, bring you the most important insights from these peculiar cases, and explore how these, seemingly disparate events might actually be threads in a much larger, more terrifying tapestry that we're only just starting to glimpse.
The big picture, yeah.
Okay, let's begin our journey. We'll start in the seemingly tranquil American Midwest, specifically around Joplin, Missouri, right where the borders of Kansas, Missouri, and Oklahoma meet. A real crossroads.
Right in the middle of things.
Here, there's this seemingly innocuous religious institution, Holy Light Ministries. It caught the eye of authorities, but for some very unusual reasons. So the core information tells us Holy Light Ministries is run by a man named Daniel Keeler. They call him Brother Dan.
Brother Dan.
But Brother Dan has a past. He was a former small-time criminal, had a few nicknames. Dealer Dan, Dirty Dan, even Devil Dan.
Doesn't sound very holy.
Not initially, no. But he allegedly found religion about 8 years ago and hasn't been arrested since, apparently.
Quite the turnaround.
Right. Now, what's intriguing is that this ministry, it claims to be a church and a shelter for troubled youth, but it owns no property, has very little income, virtually none on paper, and it just uses Keeler's mother's mailing address in Joplin.
So no building, no official structure.
Well, the report mentions they live and work in an abandoned church, but it's just across the border in Oklahoma. So nothing official in Missouri where the address.
Okay, that's unusual for a church and shelter.
Exactly. You have to wonder, what kind of religion keeps a guy like Devil Dan out of trouble, shelters homeless youths, all without a building or, any official facilities to speak of?
Yeah, that raises immediate questions. And what's particularly revealing here, I think, is where the investigation started. It didn't originate from local police or even a standard, state fraud unit looking into a shady nonprofit.
Where did it come from then?
It came from their Religious Crimes Task Force, a federal body.
Federal. For a tiny operation like that.
Exactly. Ostensibly, their job is investigating fraud in tax-exempt religious institutions. That's the cover. Well, yes. If we connect this to the bigger picture, this network of hidden organizations, this task force also functions as a kind of smokescreen.
A smokescreen for what?
For a covert entity known only as Delta Green.
Delta Green. I've heard that name whispered.
Right. This clandestine group, they use the task force to investigate what they call unnatural threats, and perhaps more chillingly, to gauge the mettle and discretion of potential recruits.
Wait, they use federal agents as bait?
Effectively, yes. People like IRS analyst Rick Corcoran, DOJ Deputy Assistant Attorney General William Barry. They're involved in this hidden agenda. They deploy these federal agents, often unknowingly, as coal mine canaries.
That's horrifying.
It is. They send them into situations that might involve something truly strange, something dangerous, hoping they survive long enough, see enough, and keep quiet enough to be identified and maybe brought into Delta Green's fold.
Wow, that's incredibly cynical and dangerous.
It highlights the extraordinary risks these secret organizations are willing to take, doesn't it?
It certainly does. Now, what about the local perspective? Does anyone know what's actually going on there?
Well, we have insights from a social worker, Jennifer Johnson. Her view is, well, it's telling and quite chilling.
What does she say?
She's heard of Holy Light Ministries and Daniel Keeler, knows his reputation as a soft touch, non-judgmental, but she's never actually met him. But here's the alarming part. where the picture gets really dark. Her observation is that, quote, very few of the young people who supposedly got help at Holy Light are still around.
Still around.
Meaning missing, gone, vanished. Johnson notes that, and this is another quote, people in this area go missing in extraordinary numbers, especially young people.
Why? What's going on there?
She points to this confluence of factors. The area's location, like you said, intersection of multiple interstates, multiple state borders, Missouri, Kansas, Oklahoma, Arkansas.
Right, jurisdictional confusion.
Exactly. Multiple state social services that don't always communicate effectively, plus vast cave country, sprawling wilderness nearby, adjacent tribal lands.
A perfect storm for people to disappear.
She says it often attracts predators, creates a situation where things can go unnoticed and disappearances become tragically common, almost background noise.
That's awful. But it still doesn't explain Brother Dan or the ministry or this light people mention.
Right. That raises the crucial question. What is this light? The one that supposedly transformed Daniel Keeler, helped him find his preacher, whatever that means, and reportedly aids these young people.
What do the locals say?
Locals frequently report seeing, they use terms like lights of angels or sometimes the devil dancing. They see it at a place called the Ghostlight Bridge.
Ghostlight Bridge. Has that name been around long?
Apparently so. It's a site that's been mentioned repeatedly in UFO newsletters going way back, from the 1940s right through the 1990s.
Decades of sightings. What does it look like?
The Ghostlight itself, the descriptions are vivid and unsettling. It appears low among the distant black trees of the night.
Okay.
The color is hard to identify, a pale orange or maybe a bruised purple. Its movements are described as erratic. The shifting colors seem like they might be full of meaning just beyond comprehension.
Sounds hypnotic.
Exactly. Initially, it doesn't cause immediate distress, apparently, but locals become profoundly hypnotized, wonderstruck, staring at it.
And then what?
After a few minutes, some start whispering these strange, really uncharacteristic phrases. Things like, for a while, the streets made sense.
The streets made sense. What does that even mean?
Or aluminum and concrete and steel burned like souls.
Wow. That's intense. It's not just seeing a light, it's affecting their minds.
It seems to penetrate their consciousness.
Yeah.
Creating this profound, disorienting experience. It borders on a complete, reordering of their internal reality.
Okay, this is getting weirder and weirder. How does Brother Dan fit into this light phenomenon?
Well, this is where the narrative takes an even stranger turn. Brother Dan's personal story, his conversion story, about finding his preacher in the Spring River woods. It points to a specific individual. A woman named Katie, described in the files as a homeless woman, possibly schizophrenic, originally from New York City.
From New York. How did she end up in the Oklahoma woods?
Her backstory is, well, it's equally bizarre and deeply unsettling. Katie apparently spent 30 years, 3 decades, tracking the sounds of car doors closing.
Tracking car door sounds.
For a voice. A voice, she said, spoke from a steel door in an uptown alley back in New York.
A voice from a door.
Yeah. This voice, she claimed, was from the man who spoke for, quote, unspeaking and unspeakable wonders.
Unspeakable wonders.
Yeah.
Okay. This is heading into some strange territory.
It gets stranger. Katie claims she was given a gift. Immortality.
Immortality. By who?
By one of the lords at that steel door. Described as a woman smiling through teeth slick with blood and a viscous blackness that curdled and spasmed.
That's a terrifying image.
The woman apparently told her, you can't die, Katie. You can count your cars forever. You're going to say thanks, aren't you, Katie?
Count cars forever. So this gift was more like a curse.
Seems like it. Eventually, Katie found her way to Oklahoma. The files say she made a bed for herself among the roots and mycelia.
Mycelia? Like fungus.
Exactly. And somehow her memory and drive and long exposure to the weird and unnatural drew drifting lights about her that flickered and rose into the sky.
So she's the source of the ghost light.
It seems so. A strange ecosystem grew in and around her. Fungi, worms, bacteria, all softly luminescing, creating the very light that Brother Dan and others now encounter at the Ghostlight Bridge.
So the light isn't angels or devils or UFOs. It's bioluminescent fungus growing around an immortal homeless woman from New York.
That appears to be the connection the files are making, yes. As incredible as it sounds.
Wow. Okay. But how does this connect to the missing kids and the feelings people get from the light?
This incredible story brings us to a crucial scientific investigation. A Dr. Glass was looking into the neurological condition of local youth and drug users.
Okay, a more grounded perspective.
Her research in the Joplin area uncovered something odd. People were showing signs of euphoria and also dopamine exhaustion, which is characteristic of frequent high-level methamphetamine use.
So meth addicts.
Here's the critical difference. They had very low levels of methamphetamine in their systems and no telltale signs like track marks or damage from inhaling, no physical evidence of meth use.
So meth effects without the meth.
Dr. Glass found something else. Unusually high levels of gut fungus in many subjects, primarily from Joplin and the surrounding area, interestingly, not north of Joplin.
Gut fungus, like in their stomachs.
Exactly. The mycobiome, the collection of fungi living in the human body. She theorized that something in the elevated human microbiome triggered some unknown neuroactivation in the gut-brain axis, causing powerful euphoric effects.
The gut-brain axis. I've heard of that. The connection between digestion and mood.
Precisely. This fungal infestation, which seems to spread through the local water, soil, vegetation, even meat, it essentially offers the highs of meth with fewer immediate behavioral effects.
People are getting high from fungus they ingested.
It seems so. And when people ingest these spores and then see the Ghostlight Kattie's luminescent ecosystem, the files suggest wonders open in their minds.
A combined effect.
Yeah, it offers a more profound high than any drug could match, which is apparently what Brother Dan himself experienced when he encountered Kattie and her glowing fungal ecosystem. That was his spiritual awakening.
So this whole thing, a former criminal leading a church of missing youth, a glowing light linked to an immortal woman surrounded by fungus, and a scientific explanation pointing to a widespread fungal infestation that alters perception, induces euphoria.
It's a deeply unsettling confluence, isn't it? Natural and unnatural forces weaving together.
It really is. It boils down to a terrifying thought, doesn't it? That some of the most profound human experiences, spiritual awakening, intense emotions, even addiction, could be biologically manipulated by an unseen force in our environment.
Yeah, the implications are huge. This fungus, the files mention, it can even lead to contagious psychosis in some cases. It shows how easily an unseen biological agent spread through water, food, the very ground, could subtly influence our thoughts, our emotions, even our spiritual belief.
Making us receptive to experiences that are profoundly alien.
Exactly. It makes you wonder how many spiritual awakenings or miracles throughout history might have had a similar unseen biological underpinning.
It's a chilling prospect, truly. The idea that something as fundamental as our belief systems could be influenced at a microbial level. It challenges our understanding of free will itself.
It really does. It means our very perception of reality might not be entirely our own.
We've just explored how hidden biological agents can subtly twist reality in the Midwest. Now let's shift gears completely. Let's see how ancient, deeply malevolent forces can literally reshape reality beneath the surface of a bustling metropolis like Brooklyn, a very different facet of the unnatural.
A completely different environment, yeah, but just as disturbing.
From the fungal whispers of the Midwest, we now shift dramatically to the bustling streets of Brooklyn, New York. Here, another type of unsettling mystery unfolds, one rooted in ancient evil lurking beneath a modern construction site.
Right. Here we're talking about the S. Garrettson Mansion condo project in Flatbush. And to really understand the present disturbances, the weirdness happening now, we absolutely have to delve into its incredibly dark past.
What's the story?
The mansion was once owned by a man named Robert Sidum. The files describe him as a true seeker after the unnatural.
Sounds ominous.
He amassed vast collections of odd books, mostly gathered in Europe, and apparently worked dark magics right there in his Brooklyn mansion.
Dark magics, okay.
In the early 1920s, around 1923, he was drawn to a church in nearby Red Hook, the Visitation of the Blessed Woman. Sounds Catholic, right?
Yeah, it sounds normal.
But it had a much darker reputation. There, Sidum found like-minded individuals already deep into the immoral and degenerate worship of a very real entity, an entity named Lilith.
Lilith. That name has ancient dark connotations.
Extremely dark. Her cult performed secret orgiastic rites on the nights of the new moon. These rites involved, horrifically, the sacrifice of abducted children.
Child sacrifice, good grief.
Sidum, it seems, thrived in this environment. He was apparently blessed by the dark powers, even looked younger and more healthful, and he rebuilt his family fortune through smuggling, illicit trade, slavery, and kidnapping.
So literal deals with the devil, or something close to it.
It appears that way. And the cult's ultimate goal was truly monstrous. They wanted to breed unwilling slaves with Lilith in the hopes of producing offspring to act as vessels, or witches' familiars.
Breeding with Lilith. How is that even possible?
The mechanics aren't detailed, but the intent is clear, a truly horrifying ambition.
Okay, so that's the grim history. How does it connect to today?
Fast forward to the present. Construction began 2 years ago to convert the old Sudam mansion into luxury condominiums.
Gentrification meets ancient evil.
Pretty much. And coinciding with this construction, 3 children have gone missing, all within 5 kilometers of the mansion. An infant, an 11-month-old, and a 2-year-old.
And let me guess, the timing.
Each disappearance occurred on or near the night of the new moon.
Just like the old cult's rituals, that cannot be a coincidence.
Absolutely not. It's a pattern screaming for attention, linking the past directly to the present horrors.
What about the construction site itself? Anything strange happening there?
Oh, yes. The workers are experiencing bizarre and disturbing phenomena constantly. They've reported thefts, vandalism, and delays.
Standard construction problems, or something more.
More. A carpenter, Peter Platt, noted his triple-checked measurements for one specific unit, Unit 35, were mysteriously altered overnight. He had to redo days of work.
Measurements just changing.
Yeah. Expensive power tools found shattered, cords cut, blades smashed, in-progress woodwork smashed and partially burned, and the police found no signs of a break-in, nothing forced.
Weird. What else?
Workers have also seen, well, they call them raccoons, but the descriptions are off. Huge, puffy, big, fast, at least 1 meter, 3 feet long.
Meter-long raccoons, that's big.
Very big. But it gets stranger. A forensics expert examining some tracks left behind would find something deeply unsettling. The prints show 5 fingers and a thumb.
5 fingers and a thumb. Like human.
And even fingerprints of a child. Imagine finding that. The files say seeing prints like that, understanding the implication, it's enough to profoundly shake anyone's grasp on reality, cause serious sanity loss.
I can imagine. Child fingerprints on meter-long things. What else?
There's an account from Carlos, a local dropout. He heard a voice from a ground floor window of the mansion late one night, speaking Spanish.
A voice. Did he see anyone?
No, but the voice knew things. Intimate details of his life, his mother's death from cancer, his family becoming homeless, his deep desire to go back to school.
How could it know that?
That's the terrifying part. And it offered him a deal, a return to his old life, back to school, if he just helped it.
Helped to do what?
He didn't stick around to find out. He fled, terrified. Says he never goes near the place at night now.
Okay, so these raccoons with human hands, speaking Spanish, knowing secrets, that's truly chilling, isn't it?
Yes.
Suggests something far more organized and sinister than just wildlife.
Oh, absolutely not raccoons. These are what the files call the favored ones.
Favored ones? Favored by who? Lil.
Presumably. There are nearly 100 of these horrific creatures. They once served Sedum and Lilith's cult.
What do they look like exactly, besides big?
The description is grotesque. Like a huge rat, about 1 meter, 3 to 4 feet long, and weighing nearly 11 kilograms, 25 pounds, but with a human face and tiny articulate human hands.
Human face. Oh, God.
And they are wickedly intelligent and fully aware of the dangers of the modern world. They're not mindless beasts.
So where have they been all this time? Since the 1920s?
After the original cult was destroyed back in 1925, these creatures apparently retreated into, or were trapped in, a vast dark maze beyond space and time, feeding on each other, waiting.
Waiting for what?
For a way back. The condo construction, specifically the discovery of a hidden panel in Unit 35, seems to have reopened their access to our world.
And they have abilities, besides knowing Spanish.
They can speak and understand any language, apparently, and they can read the surface thoughts of those individuals they can see.
Mind reading. That explains how the voice knew about Carlos.
Exactly. They use this knowledge to taunt, to lure victims into traps. And when they're threatened, they don't just run, they use ritual magic to escape.
Magic? What kind?
Spells, enchantments, things like fascination, a powerful spell to mesmerize and capture individuals, particularly children.
For sacrifice.
For sacrifice to Lilith, yes.
And the epicenter seems to be this Unit 35, Sedum's old study.
That's right. Where the builders found that odd hinged door concealed within the wainscoting. Peter Platt, the carpenter, was actually impressed by the precision of the cuts that hid it.
What is that panel, really?
This geometric plate, as it's sometimes called, it's actually an extra-dimensional gate, created by Robert Sidham himself back in 1924.
A gate to where this maze they were in?
Exactly. It connects the mansion to these secret spaces that span across Brooklyn and elsewhere. It's not just one place.
Now, the room itself, Unit 35, is weird.
Profoundly wrong. Those measurements Platt noticed changing. They fluctuate by day, but differ dramatically at night.
How dramatic?
If you try to measure it at night, the numbers clearly do not add up. Dimensions change by up to 33 centimeters, 13 inches in any direction.
Space itself is warping.
That's what it seems like. To truly grasp that, to see space bending, the files note it's enough to cause significant psychological distress. Sanity loss again.
And the gate. Can you go through it?
Touching the plate, attempting to enter. It requires immense mental fortitude. You witness beings move along an impossible perspective, receding in physical space along a vector that cannot exist in 3 dimensions.
Non-Euclidean geometry made real.
Essentially, within this vast dark maze, there's a place called the Old Shrine, much larger than the other tunnels. It's described as filthy and reeks of long, dried rot, littered with human bones, mostly of children.
The remains of the sacrifices.
Almost certainly. And on new moon nights, the favored ones gather there. They play music on an ornate throne of solid gold and a sagging, rotten 1898 Esty pump organ.
Music? What kind of music?
The files don't specify, but you can imagine it's not pleasant. And it is here, at the shrine, on the new moon, that Lilith herself can appear.
How? What does she look like?
She animates a host body, a murdered human female.
So she possesses corpses.
Yes, and she's incredibly powerful. She can control the dead, raise them as puppets. She can rapidly create or spawn these skittering corpse children that drain blood from their victims. And she possesses a terrible will that makes her host nearly impervious to conventional weapons. Bullets, knives, they barely slow her down.
And the laugh.
She giggles. The bone-chilling, tittering laugh.
Okay, that's pure nightmare fuel right there.
Yeah.
Beneath a Brooklyn condo development.
And speaking of ancient horrors resurfacing in our cities, Brooklyn or nearby areas also gives us another chilling case. It shows how artifacts, things from the past, can awaken dormant evils even far from their original homes.
What case is that?
We have to consider a victim of the art incident. This involved a series of utterly brutal murders up in Glenridge, New York. Not far away, the victims. Their spines and brains were systematically removed.
Spines and brains removed? Why?
This was tied to a teenager, Thomas Dengler. He completely unwittingly came into possession of an ancient Peruvian artifact, the IAPA amulet. It was a memento from his grandfather's travels in South America years ago.
An amulet? What did it do?
It linked him psychically to something. A silent one, or IAPA, as it was known in Peru. Elsewhere, these things are called winged servitors.
Winged servitors sounds like something out of mythology.
Or cosmic horror. This creature, the IAPA, is described as devious and crafty. It enjoys the taste of human flesh, and over the last century or so, it developed a taste for certain delicacies.
Delicacies like?
The IAPA enjoys consuming only the crunchy bits of humans, and especially craves the human spine and its juicy contents. It also savors the human brain and skull.
Good Lord. That explains the missing parts.
Precisely. The gruesome details of the victims fit perfectly. Dr. Carl Moretti, torso and lower jaw missing. Vanessa Hatvan, her body found 12 meters up a tree, missing her spine and head. Lauren Harrogate, kidnapped straight from a second-story balcony.
Taken by something that flies, presumably.
The winged part, yes. And there was a physical clue, a pulpy gray organic substance found under the victim's fingernails. Analysis showed it contained fluorine, chlorine, and ammonia.
Not earthly biology, then.
Not remotely. That was a key clue for a Delta Green asset and Agent Carson involved in that investigation. It indicated something truly alien, utterly outside our known biology, was responsible.
It's clear, isn't it? These urban environments with all their layers of history, the constant digging and rebuilding, they hold these deep ancient secrets.
They absolutely do.
What hidden horrors might be lurking just out of sight in our modern cities? Whether it's right there in plain view at a construction site or summoned by some forgotten artifact brought back from halfway across the world? Just patiently preying on the vulnerable, leaving these trails of the inexplicable for those brave or maybe foolish enough to follow?
The thought that these things exist side by side with our daily lives, just under the surface, it's truly unsettling.
We've seen hidden biological threats, ancient urban cults. Now let's move to a drastically different scene entirely. A remote, freezing landscape in Willis, Alabama, December 1998.
Okay.
Here, a massive government operation is underway, trying to contain, trying to understand an impossible weather event. The environment is frigid, hostile, and the stakes are extraordinarily high. It pushes the boundaries of what humanity, or at least certain parts of it, are willing to do.
Right. This operation, its codename was Weather Watcher, and it was far, far more than just a simple weather anomaly investigation.
Who was running it? Not just FEMA, I assume.
Not even close. It was run by Project Preludo, which is part of the ultra-secret Majestic organization.
Majestic, the group supposedly dealing with UFOs.
Roswell?
Exactly. They study extraterrestrial technology, specifically focusing on tech, recovered from the Greys, the reticulans, as they're sometimes known since the Roswell incident back in '47.
So they thought this weather was alien tech.
That was the operating theory. They deployed Operation BLUE FLY pararescue teams. Their specific job is locating, recovering, and studying extraterrestrial technology.
And who else is involved? Security.
Oh, yeah. The 20th Special Forces Group set up a perimeter. Their cover story. They were told they were assisting in a nuclear materials recovery. Plausible deniability.
Standard procedure for these things, I guess.
And then you had AFOSI, the Air Force Office of Special Investigations, specifically a unit called NRO Delta. Their job was information security, cover stories, and maintaining extreme readiness. They were authorized to use extreme measures, including violence, torture, murder, to protect Majestic secrets, make problems, disappear. So, a highly compartmentalized, incredibly dangerous operation, where trust is basically non-existent.
A luxury few could afford, absolutely.
Okay, so what was this Jack Frost storm, as they called it? What actually happened?
It was terrifying, and it defied all known science. Commercial pilots flying over northern Alabama reported a split-second radio disruption, then a gigantic camera flash in the sky, followed by violet lightning, and then an aurora, but not like the northern lights. This was a tall corona of deep blue light forming right over the site near Willis.
A localized artificial aurora.
Apparently. And critically, the storm caused something they termed cryogenesis, instantaneous death from freezing. But, and this is the impossible part without the typical cell damage from ice crystals that would normally rupture membranes.
Wait, freezing without ice damage? How?
According to the researchers on site, quote, impossible, of course, in the experience of human science. The bodies remained at this unnatural fixed temperature, 0.5 degrees Celsius, half a degree above freezing, and they never thawed, even when exposed to direct heat.
Never thawed.
No.
That's impossible. What else?
More weirdness. Extremely low frequency ELF radiation at a very specific frequency, 13.2 hertz. It was emanating faintly from all organic matter in the area, increasing in strength as you got closer to a place called Crow Lake.
13.2 hertz. Does that frequency mean anything?
We'll get back to that. Also, other types of radiation, like infrared, heat energy, were being absorbed into the environment, just vanishing, which caused catastrophic temperature drops.
So something is sucking the heat out and emitting this strange ELF signal. What was it?
The true cause of these horrors, according to deep analysis and, well, some harrowing encounters, was an entity, Itlashua.
The Windwalker. What is it? Did anyone see it?
As it manifested, the description is profoundly unsettling. A massive, impossible figure swaying in the snow-stained black air like a mountain over Crow Lake.
A mountain. Moving.
Its enormous black eyes are filled with stars. Its huge face is inhuman but grotesquely reminiscent of humanity, twisted in savagery and misery. A gigantic claw clenches.
Oh my God. Just seeing that.
Witnessing it directly was so profoundly horrifying, it drove observers to the brink of madness. The files mention extreme sanity loss, severe penalties to all actions. People couldn't function properly.
How does it cause the cold?
Itlashua absorbs electromagnetic energy, everything from super low frequency right up through infrared, sucks it in, which triggers these catastrophic temperature drops. And it constantly emits radio waves that interfere with communications, strange pulses and patterns of feedback and static, not quite random, but utterly indecipherable by human tech.
It's like a living energy sink and scrambler.
And there's more. Beneath Crow Lake, they found an ancient shrine, shaped vaguely like a dentist chair for a patient 6 meters tall.
A giant dentist chair.
That's the description. Apparently built by ancient Kenyani sorcerers.
Kenyani, another rabbit hole.
A deep one. They built it to placate and ward away the Windwalker. This shrine, it emits a faint ultraviolet glow, radioactivity, and that same ELF radiation, 13.2 hertz.
So the shrine generates the same frequency as the entity.
Or the victims. It seems linked. And that frequency, 13.2 hertz, it's known to resonate with fast beta brainwaves associated with the fight-or-flight reflex.
So being near the shrine, or maybe the entity itself, puts you in a constant state of panic.
That's the implication. The realization itself, the files note, costs sanity. Just understanding that connection. The environment itself becomes a weapon, subtly manipulating your most primal survival instincts, turning terror into a frequency.
This is just layer upon layer of horror. And the bodies.
Yeah?
The people who died from this cryogenesis. They didn't just stay frozen, did they?
No, the horror didn't end there. The bodies of those slain by Itlashua's power, they rose as ravening Wendigo acts.
Wendigos, like the cannibal spirit from folklore.
These weren't just frozen corpses. They were something far more monstrous, described as cannibal ogres with blue-white corpse flesh. Their eyes blaze red, strange-smelling hair bristles.
And they were dangerous.
Incredibly resilient. Ordinary attacks, bullets, knives. They inflict only superficial damage. Even what should be a fatal blow merely slows them down. It required extraordinary force to truly neutralize them.
Like the creature Lilith animated. Hard to kill.
Similar resistance, yeah. And they could howl, spending willpower points in game terms, but essentially exerting a powerful psychic force.
What, right?
It could cause temporary insanity or just stun nearby individuals, overwhelming their minds with pure terror.
A psychic attack.
And what's truly disturbing, even the researchers performing autopsies on the original cryogenically frozen victims, if they got overwhelmed, if their focus slipped, they experienced a powerful cannibalistic reverie, an insidious urge to feed on the frozen dead.
What? The urge was contagious.
It suggests an insidious influence, yeah. Like an infection of the mind, spreading from Ilashua's touch, turning even dedicated scientists against their own humanity.
The paranoia must have been off the charts.
Within the military command, it reached critical levels. Major James Farrell, the guy initially thrilled about finding alien tech, he descended into irrational denial, refused to accept any mythological explanations, insisted it had to be purely technological despite all the evidence. Cognitive dissonance at its extreme.
The other security chief, NRO Delta.
Agent Harris, leading NRO Delta, he grew deranged. Started accusing his own team members of being plants from Delta Green, that other shadowy group we mentioned.
So the secret agencies were even paranoid about each other.
Oh, absolutely. Harris made plans to detain team members and take them off-site for murder and quiet disposal under the guise of training accidents.
He was going to kill his own people based on paranoia.
That's what the files indicate. This internal fracturing, the mistrust, it becomes almost as dangerous as the external threat itself, proving that sometimes the greatest enemy is within.
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? This level of secrecy, the willingness to kill or torture, the internal paranoia, does the cure become almost as terrifying as the disease? What's the true cost of this kind of absolute control?
That's a critical question, and it's something these organizations constantly grapple with, or perhaps more accurately ignore. The most extreme measure they had on hand reflects this.
What was that?
The deployment, or readiness to deploy, purgatory, an infrasonic weapon system hidden in a helicopter.
Infrasonic. Below human hearing.
Exactly. This device can kill living things without drawing attention, using frequencies you can't hear, but that can rupture organs. It was considered by its developers the best chance to save your team if there was an actual extraterrestrial threat. Basically, kill everything in the area silently.
Kill everything.
Yeah.
Including your own people if they're too close or compromised.
It highlights the stark moral compromises, doesn't it? Those operating in the shadows are willing to sacrifice their own, and anyone else who gets in the way, to protect the world from what they cannot control or even fully comprehend. The price of ignorance, they seem to believe, is far higher than the price of humanity.
So how do we even define containment when you're faced with cosmic entities that warp reality and revive the dead as cannibal monsters?
Yeah.
And what moral compromises are made by those in the shadows, trying to protect us from things we can't even begin to comprehend, often at the cost of their own sanity, their own humanity.
The lines between protector and monster become terrifyingly blurred. It's a constant theme in these files.
For our final exploration today, let's turn to a deeply personal tragedy, something that unfolds with terrifying supernatural consequences in another part of Alabama, actually. This is the story of Robin Bullock, a college student, her mysterious disappearance from Birmingham, and her reappearance way up in Vermont. It exposes a mother's truly desperate acts.
Right. Robin Bullock, the student, she has a history of what her family just calls walkouts.
Walkouts, like sleepwalking.
More like losing time, appearing in unexpected places, sometimes hundreds of miles away. And occasionally, these episodes are accompanied by strange psychic powers.
Psychic powers, like what?
For instance, she once found herself suddenly on top of Red Mountain near Birmingham after meditating on an apatite crystal. She didn't black out, didn't lose time consciously, she was just there.
Instantaneous travel.
Teleportation.
Something like that. It suggests an innate sensitivity to, let's call them esoteric energies, a connection to something beyond the ordinary. And this very sensitivity, unfortunately, made her a prime target for the kind of unnatural forces we've been discussing. It drew attention. Malevolent attention.
Whose attention?
The central figure in this tragedy is Karen Valdez, a former pediatric doctor. Her youngest daughter, Sydney, is dying. Slowly, horribly, from pancreatic cancer.
Oh, that's awful.
It's the same disease that tragically claimed Karen's own father and sister. So you can imagine her grief, her desperation.
Unimaginable. Karen exhaustively sought cures from traditional sources, doctors, hospitals. But when nothing worked, she turned elsewhere, to the occult. Desperate to save her last remaining child from the same fate, her love, twisted by grief, became this terrifying catalyst.
Where did she turn? What did she find?
Her desperation led her to some truly bizarre and dangerous practices, especially at her secluded home on a place called Hatchet Hill.
Hatchet Hill, okay.
The property itself exhibits an unnatural phenomenon. It's a gravity hill.
Like those tourist spots where cars seem to roll uphill.
Exactly. Water rolls uphill, cars coast slowly upward, but the files are clear. This is not an illusion. And critically, this phenomenon began only recently when Karen Valdez began to awaken her daughter's psychic connections.
So her rituals are warping local gravity.
That's the implication. A direct link between her occult practices and a localized warping of reality.
What was she studying?
Her study is described as cluttered with crazed, rambling writings and pieces and printouts of weird occult books and countless medical texts. A fusion of desperation and forbidden knowledge. Her most important resource seems to be a thick old tome entitled The Mother of Moons.
The Mother of Moons. What did it promise?
It detailed techniques, rituals to preserve Sydney's essence, her consciousness, her soul, in a healthier body.
Body swapping. Consciousness transfer?
Something like that, requiring a gruesome series of transformations and invasions. The book claims success was most likely in a host with psychic or magical powers, like Robin Bullock.
So Robin was targeted because of her walkouts, her sensitivity.
Precisely.
Oh.
And the book described a fascination ritual, powerful enough to hypnotize a potential host so deeply that she could be brought back completely unaware of what was happening to her or why she was suddenly in Vermont.
Just waking up somewhere else with no memory of the journey, like Robin's walkouts.
Exactly. And notably, one of the rituals Karen was using, the Dance of the Hylaroi, invoking these supposed watchful nymphs or spirits of the deep woods who serve the Mother of Moons. The files explicitly state this ritual is equivalent to a meditation upon the favored ones.
The rat things from Brooklyn.
The very same. It hints at this broader, interconnected, occult landscape. The same dark powers, perhaps, manifesting in different forms, answering to different names, but linked. These threads of horror, they seem to weave through many different places, many different files.
Okay, so Karen is trying to put her daughter's mind into Robin's body. How far does she take this?
The Valdez house itself, as a result of Karen's intense paranoia and her horrific intentions, it's rigged like a death trap. It's a physical manifestation of her psychological state, a place designed for unspeakable acts.
How is it rigged?
The living room is strung with fish hooks at neck and face level, designed to catch intruders horribly.
Fish hooks? Seriously, that's barbaric.
It gets worse. Motion sensors hidden in the walls trigger shaped charges, hidden behind the drywall, designed to kill anyone within a meter of the blast. She was ready to eliminate any interference with extreme prejudice.
My God. What about the daughter, Sydney? Where is she in all this?
In Sydney's room, a hand-woven crown of laurel adorns the dying girl's head, like some kind of twisted princess. But nearby rests something truly horrific.
What?
A taxidermied head, pelt, and claws of a bear wrapped around a black child.
Wrapped around a dead child?
Yes. Described as days dead, castrated, his body encrusted with 100 cuts.
No.
It's a grotesque display, a terrifying testament to Karen's complete descent into depravity. Almost certainly a ritual sacrifice to the Mother of Moons, a desperate, monstrous offering in her attempt to cure Sydney.
It's an image that's hard to shake. A desperation beyond any comprehension turned into pure monstrosity.
Indeed. And Sydney herself, the daughter, she's barely clinging to life. but she's changing. Her inner organs have mutated into hardy masses, and blackened chitinous stingers sometimes extrude from her torso, dripping not venom, but something more like cerebrospinal fluid cloudy with genetic potential.
She's mutating, becoming something else.
The ultimate horror is Sydney's transformation. If she's attacked or even just severely distressed, if her own sanity hits zero, she becomes something else entirely.
What?
A huge, ropey, spider-like thing with the girl's eyes replicated in countless blinking sockets and a changeable number of limbs.
Oh, God. Like something out of a nightmare.
And this creature, this transformed Sydney, it specifically attacks psychic individuals, like Robin. It injects them with a barb.
A stinger. What does it do?
It causes their memories, their sense of self, to dissipate like smoke. Replaced, overwritten by Sydney's memories, and even the memories of her past victims. It gradually converts the victim's entire intelligence, their personality, to Sydney's.
So it's not just killing them. It's erasing them, stealing their minds.
Exactly. It's not merely death. It's an erasure of identity. A parasitic possession where the victim becomes nothing more than a new vessel for Sydney's consciousness, her will to survive. A living tomb for a dying girl's monstrously transformed self.
This case, it's a profound exploration of personal grief twisted into something utterly monstrous, isn't it?
It really is.
It raises that chilling question. How far is too far when love becomes desperation? And what monstrous forms can personal grief and ancient magic take when they combine to defy the natural order? It's a reminder that sometimes the most terrifying horrors aren't born from ancient evils in some hidden dimension, but from the depths of human suffering right here in our own world, twisted by forces we don't understand.
A terrifying hot.
So from the fungal whispers of the Midwest to the rat men beneath Brooklyn, the cosmic cold-snapping life out in Alabama, to these psychic transformations born of grief, we've navigated a truly unsettling array of phenomena today.
We really have.
Each story in its own right is a testament to the hidden complexities, the terrifying undercurrents of our world.
And what becomes profoundly clear, I think, is not just the individual horrors, disturbing as they are. It's the subtle underlying patterns we've observed across these disparate cases.
The connections.
Yeah, the connections. Whether it's the involvement of these covert agencies like Delta Green or Majestic, trying desperately to control or just cover up these events.
Or the insidious influence of ancient artifacts, like the Appa amulet, or forbidden texts like the Mother of Moons, guiding human actions down dark paths.
Exactly. Or the emergence of these entities that just blur all the lines between biology like the fungus, magic like Lilith, and pure cosmic terror like Itlashua. These are clearly not isolated incidents.
Right.
They speak to a hidden layer of reality, one where human desperation like Karen Valdez's, or maybe just simple curiosity, or being in the wrong place, can inadvertently trigger these cataclysmic interactions with forces far beyond our comprehension.
And the unnatural seems to prey on our deepest vulnerabilities, doesn't it? Offering false hope, like with Brother Dan maybe, or terrible power, like Sedum sought, pulling individuals and sometimes entire communities into its horrifying embrace.
Precisely.
Indeed. These aren't just strange tales. They feel like fragments of a larger, deeply unsettling truth. Our world, it seems, is far stranger and maybe far more dangerous than we generally allow ourselves to believe. Filled with forces that operate just beyond our perception, waiting for an opportunity, a crack in the facade, to reveal themselves and profoundly alter our understanding of what is possible. It's a world where the everyday can, at any moment, just dissolve into something truly fundamentally alien.
It's a sobering thought.
So, as you go about your day, maybe think about this. What if the things we casually dismiss, folklore, urban legends, conspiracy theories, even things written off as mere madness? What if they're actually fragmented glimpses of a pervasive, horrifying truth?
Echoes of something real.
And how many anomalies that appear utterly random, utterly disconnected, are in fact threads? Threads of a single, vast, and terrifying tapestry of the uncanny, patiently waiting for us to piece them together.
A puzzle we might not want to solve.
Thank you for joining us on the Uncanny Valley podcast.
Until next time.
Until next time, stay curious and keep questioning what lies beneath.